All right, welcome back. So we're going to try this again. Um, Basically, today what I wanted to do is go through our Sunday stock talk, look at where the market is right now, what the plan is for next week, and look at any chart requests you guys have, as well as recap the swing trades that we're currently in. Okay, so I think there's audio. If there is none, just please let me know in the chat, but I think I can hear myself here, so I think we're good. So the first thing I want to get started on is we gapped up on ES. So this is the futures market. So this is the action that happened before the open. So we gapped up right now. And the most important thing really with this gap up is seeing how this bar closes within the first hour. Usually the momentum in the first hour is going to determine what's going to happen next. Like if we close near the highs of this bar, I'll expect us to kind of trend overnight. If we close with this wick over here, it's going to be still a little bit short bias to the extent that we might kind of go sideways, or we could possibly come back down and test this gap. The main level that need to hold from last week is this 26 level. This is the main level that, as long as this holds, we can just consolidate or we can go straight up, but this is the must hold level for the bulls. Okay, so I had a few chart requests on Twitter. If you guys have any chart requests in the chat, please just drop them by. But yeah, again, you can see how this price is interacting over here, and really need to see the close of the first hour to determine who's really in control. Just because we have a gap up doesn't mean that we're going to go to all-time highs right away, right? So be cautious and be careful. So what I want to recap is, let's look at the swings from last week and talk about them. And then, okay, I'm going to get back to those chart requests right there. So the first one, I want to talk about is Zoom. So a lot of people were asking me about Zoom on Twitter and saying, what did we do when we were over here? Okay, so the chart had looked like that at the time. So we got the inside bar signal, and we're obviously bullish on the stock. All we have to do is zoom out to see how bullish the stock is, right? So we had that inside bar signal, and what I told everyone was it's worth a shot to get long above this inside bar with a stop below, and that it played out to be a nice 2 times your risk right now. So that's already a winner. That's already in the books. Okay, so where it goes from here, we don't know, but definitely scale out at least partials, and then you can put your stop loss to break even right there and see where this thing goes. Okay, so that was one that a lot of people have been asking me for, and worked out pretty well. So let's get to the chart request then. So hi Cameron, we're gonna look at BA, Boeing. Okay, so as always, whenever we look at a stock, let's zoom out. Okay, so here's the thing with Boeing. It's very different than Zoom, right? You guys can clearly see that. It's not in a clear uptrend. Instead, we have this major resistance right here, and we have this major support down here. So you just kind of zoom out first to see, what's going on. So if I was to look at Boeing right here, I could see that this thing is in a range, and anything in a range is going to be hard to trade because there's no clear direction. And anytime there's no clear direction, it's hard to make money because a lot of times you're going to get chopped out. So definitely, I'm not a fan of this at all. I wouldn't be, but definitely in this area, I would say looking more on the short side of things, especially if we can break through this area right here at 211, 212. We can break through this wick, expect to come down a little bit more, maybe back to this mid-Bollinger Band to see if they can pick up more steam, but not a fan to be a bull at this point. Barrick Gold. All right, Barrick Gold. New York Stock Exchange. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So gold has been getting messed up recently, and I actually did try a swing trade in the gold futures. So let's go to the gold futures first. Let's look at it. So when I went to the weekly chart for gold, I initially had taken a position right here. And I was pretty confident that we were going to get a little bit of a pop. But quickly, I started to see this price action, and I moved my stops up, and I got stopped out. And then when that was done, I realized that it's not really following technicals. So I just canceled my position there, took a small loss, and I was done. But now with this pressure down, we have 1, 2, 3 weeks of red. I think we should have a little bit more red before we start to see a reversal. And what we can do is we can take the fib from this pivot here, and look at that. So we're sitting on the 50 right now. So if we can close this week strong, like a nice bull candle, it would be a great buying opportunity. But right now, it's not clear because there was a lot of selling last week. So the best case scenario is we kind of come back down to the 618. I would like that more of a buying opportunity. And you have to remember, with those stocks that you're playing, like Barrick Gold, and they're based on the futures as well, right? So the gold, the overall market. So how is the overall market doing? And if you see the same thing here. It's almost the same chart where we've broken through. So for this company specifically, let's draw the fib from this swing low here up to the swing high and see where we're at. So again, we're close to the 50. I do like this type of selling because it's very dramatic and it's very bold and quick. So if we do get a reversal signal right here, I definitely see that we can have a little pop here and potentially come back up here, or potentially pop up to the 236 and then reverse. If we look at this overall, a lot of people have been bullish on gold, but let's really look at this chart, right? This thing is not in a clear uptrend. Yes, it's had some pops, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue. It has to continue higher. It could definitely, you have to remember, anyone that was shorting up here and made a lot of money, you better believe that they're going to try and short again, right? So that's very different than looking at a stock like Zoom or those tech stocks that are in clear uptrends. It's a lot more easier to make money when a company's in a clear uptrend. When you have these type of, range bound plays, it's a lot harder. And I prefer not to trade those just because the win rates are not as great. But with this particular setup here and this fib playing out, if we come back down to the 618, or even if it gets really aggressive when we come back down to the 786, I think those are real good buying opportunities. All right. So if there's any more chart requests, please throw them in there. I'm just going to continue with the other stocks that I called out recently, and we'll look at the performance. So Tesla was my big winner, 30%. And let's go back to the analysis and see, and see where we are right now. So initial call out on Tesla was when we tagged this 50% on the weekly, right? So we had this big push up. Like, look at Tesla, right? See how that chart looks versus like the gold chart? We're in a clear uptrend right now. Clear. It's so clear that this stock wants to go higher, right? So that's why when we tagged the 50% retracement here, and then we had this bullish bar, I was very intrigued to go long here because I know the trend is with me, right? And it was even better when this red candle came in, because you could see that the shorts had tried once, twice, thrice, and I called out, if we break above that bar, expect a big squeeze. That's exactly what we had. So the minimum target on Tesla has already hit for me at 560. And now I'm just looking for the rest of these Fibonacci targets to play out. Definitely think there's a little bit more room to the upside here, just because we closed pretty strong. So maybe if we get like a doji next week or something showing a sign of reversal, I'll be more inclined to close the position. But as of right now, things look like we're going to go up a little bit more at least, and maybe we can get up to this area here between 616 to 640. This zone will probably be an area where the shorts will try again. So that's Tesla, and then DraftKings. So this is the other 20% winner that we had. So this one was clearly, this pattern here, I wanted to spend some time on it. This is what we call the waterfall and the same color bar pattern. So we had a waterfall where every single high on the way down was not taken up. So this is a sign of, a lot of selling. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 red bars in a row. So anytime you have that, and then plus we have the 786 fib right here, anytime you have that type of action, it's likely that the next candle is going to be green, right? Because if you just look back at the charts, in general, the colors of the bars don't last for more than 4 to 5 bars, and that's just from statistics, right? So once we had this 786, this engulfing bar, then the hammer bar, that was my call to go long. And now we've already hit minimum targets. We're looking for a lot more, hopefully, with DraftKings that it can break through. But it could also do something like this where it pulls back down here and then breaks through. So be prepared for everything. Next one we had was Baba. There we go. So Baba, the call was all the way down here because when we were selling at the time, this was a red bar. And I had said, you know what, it's worth it to put a few bucks in for Baba and let's see what's going to happen because I like the 786. And it flipped completely. And now we're already up like a good 8% on Baba. So this one, I wanted to get to 286 to have that minimum target to really make some money on this. But we'll wait and see. This pattern is playing out and we're going to see how it continues. And the other one that was a good winner for me was AMD. Sorry, not AMD, PayPal. So PayPal, I was calling this for weeks. We had this inside bar, and then we had a double inside bar. So how I got involved in this trade was I just went long right above, right basically the next week when we broke this high. I had an order resting here. I got long, stop below this bar. And this one is already at the very peak hit 2.2 for me. And I just think there's a lot more in the tank for PayPal. So hopefully I can get like a good 5 times my money on this play, but we'll see what happens next week. So another request, RUT. So okay, this is Russell. Okay, yeah. So this is exactly the same like the rest of the market. It's really depends on what's going to happen overnight with the futures. That's why I said I wanted to wait and see what happens with this hourly bar. You see how it's already selling off, and it's so funny that everybody on Twitter is calling. We're gonna make all-time highs tonight. This is the thing. You guys you have to know what you're doing. You have to understand and appreciate the price action. When this bar closes, that's what we're gonna know to give us an edge on what's likely to happen. So a lot of rookies were already buying at the open at 36.50, and they're already getting crushed right now. So just have a set of rules that you follow. So one thing that I like to do is I let the first hour close, and then I like to say, okay, if we close up here, then I'm pretty sure we're gonna go higher. If we close down here, things can be different. So you have to be able to have a system, guys. Don't just listen to all these people out there and lose your money. One guy said he bought like a few contracts at the close and we opened higher and he's up money. That's just gambling. What if we open down here? Would you be bankrupt? I hate doing those type of things, guys, without risk management. Anyways, back to the charts. Let's look at Facebook. I like Facebook a lot. Let's go to the weekly. So always start with the weeklies. So this is a very, very beautiful pattern on Facebook. I'm actually going to post this after this call because I am in love with this pattern. So we had a double inside week right at the mid-Bollinger Band. Let's take the fib. So we're hanging out on the 618 right now. What I really like about this pattern was we did break lower on this bar and then we reversed. So that's very bullish. We need to see what the open is on Monday. If we open anywhere above here, that's a great opportunity to go long. Keep your wrist tight because if these wicks break, I can see us coming back down here. But I think this is a great setup. Thanks for the request. And then the next one, the video. So I posted this one recently, actually, on Twitter. And I think I have the analysis here. Yeah, so I have the analysis. So let's look at this together. So this is very similar to Facebook in the sense that there's a trap that's happening. So we had the inside week. We had this short wick. So I'm extremely bullish on NVIDIA if we can break this wick at 546. We have the 20 EMA right there, and we have the 786 algo buying happening as well. So NVIDIA and Facebook, very similar, but very good opportunities. Keep the risk tight because if you've been trading with me for the last few months, you already made money on a lot of the swings, and it's not going to work all the time. So when it doesn't work, you better lose smaller than what you made on the other ones. And that's the name of the game. All right. So I'm going to post Facebook. Thank you very much for that chart request. And I think that's it. If you guys don't have any more chart requests, then or any other questions, I'm gonna end it right here because I like to just look at, you see this list here, this inside bar list. These are the ones that are on my radar, and then I have my bigger um, list right here. But you don't have to trade every single thing in the market to make money. Pick a few that you like and that react to the price action in a favorable way and stick with them. That's all. That's what I do. Stick with them. Been trading Microsoft for a long time. Been trading the blue chips, the Amazons. Got into Uber last year. So, just pick a few and master them. Don't become a jack of all trades. And um, I see people that are switching from one thing to the other. But what happens with that is when your strategy starts working, you're going to be gone to the next thing and you're going to miss the opportunities. All right. So stay focused, stay disciplined this week. Um, Last week was a short week, so we can expect some type of action this week now that we're coming back. December in the market, you have to remember it's in the last few weeks of December that there's going to be weird volume issues because a lot of people could be going on vacation and things like that, and then the holidays and all that. So December, from a day trading perspective, I might cut it early after the first 2 weeks or so, and just relax and get ready for the new year. It's been a great year for me. So thank you very much, guys, for joining. If you don't have any other questions, I appreciate your time on a Sunday. Okay, we got one more chart request here. Let's look at this one. AAPN. Is that chart? AA. I can't find that ticker. Maybe can you repost that ticker? AAPN. I don't see anything with that. Repost that. Have you please if you made a mistake in the spelling there, but I don't see that one. All right, so back to the video here. Okay, yeah. You can DM me and I'll post that on Twitter. Whenever. Oh, APPN. Okay, there we go. APPN. There we go. Okay. Appian Corporation. So this is a monster run right here. I don't know this company, but if I look at the chart, I could tell you a few things. So the first thing is that we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 big bull bars in a row. And this week is going to be important. If we have an inside week here, that will be a great opportunity to look for a long and a continue higher. If we push through and start to show signs of reversal, I'll be very hesitant to be buying up here because we've already had a big push. Ideally, if you want to buy this, we want this mid Bollinger Band to catch up, right? Because this is an area of support. This is the 20 EMA. So ideally, maybe we come here inside, we chop around, and this mid Bollinger Band pulls in like this. Then we'll have a better setup here. I would not want to be chasing at highs. That's just a personal preference, and chasing at highs never leads to anything good. Starbucks. Love Starbucks. I've been trading this for a long time. Anyways, let me get rid of this. Yeah, so inside week. I love these inside weeks. They're so powerful. So we had an inside week last week, and this inside week is very important because it was shorting from the previous week before that. So if we really look at the price action here, we can see that around I guess $100 was there were shorts, and now this inside week is threatening to squeeze these shorts because we're closing near these highs. So depending on where we open on Monday, if we can get above this level, I expect to break this wick and maybe go back up here somewhere, 101, 102. And things can get really, they can get really aggressive if there is a lot of shorts sitting here and they get squeezed. But if we open and we're somewhere down here, then that's going to be totally different. So I would wait for the break of this high to really look for the long. Do I trade options too? I used to, but nowadays I prefer futures because with the options, the decay and stuff like that, I'd rather not be a part of that. I rather just have the futures because it's very leveraged, similar to options, but there's no time factor. So I could be in a position and hold it forever. without having to worry about expiry. So that's why I like the futures more, and then I like just trading the stock, because a lot of these companies, if the stock will, in my opinion, will never go to zero. Like let's say Amazon, right, or Google. I'm not ever expecting that to go to zero. So if I own the stock, I can, while I'm swing trading, while I'm trying to make money on a daily basis on these stocks, I can also invest, right? So when I'm buying and I'm making some money on these blue chips, and I'm swinging, and I'll leave a little bit on for an investment, and that's kind of how you make a lot of money over time. Because if you've done that for the last 5 or 10 years in any major tech company, you would have already tripled or 4 times your money. So that's why I like trading those more with stock. If I had options, then I would have to worry about the expiry, and that expiry part is something that I just prefer not to deal with. But you can still make a lot of money doing options. And with my setups, you can definitely do options. Like, for example, the Starbucks setup here, you can buy calls next week if once we break that high, and look for, anywhere between 20 to 100% return, depending on how, if you see the squeeze. So you can buy those options and see, do we squeeze? Are we squeezing once we break that high? If we're not squeezing, then you can just get out for break even or get out for a small loser, right? So that's how you would do it from an options perspective. No problem. All right, so I see we got a few more followers in here. So if you guys have any chart requests, please throw them in there. But I'll spend the next few minutes talking about options and futures and stocks then. So I'll give you guys some time to post a chart request. But basically what I would say with an overall is options is something that is used in this industry in the wrong way. There's a lot of scams, a lot of get rich overnight. That's what they market it as. And it's I would rather do options in the term of having them as a hedge to my positions, not to be my bread and butter, right? And I have some people that I mentor in my apprentice program that have lost a lot of money with options. One guy actually called me last week and told me he lost $75,000 trading options. So, if you put 75 grand in stocks, hey, you're not going to lose 75 grand. They're not going to go to zero. So, but you're not going to have that big ability to make, 3 or 4 or 5 times your money. But if you're really trying to do this for the long run, then why would you want to get rich overnight? You should be focusing on learning the skill that you can apply for the rest of your life. So we went through Tesla already, but I'll just touch on it again since we had that, I think. So basically, the initial call out was this 50% retracement, and we had this bull bar, and then we had this short bar, and then we broke through, and then we already hit the minimum target at 560, and we're looking like we're going to head a little bit higher and possibly see a reversal. Do you see Baba going over 300 by the end of the year? It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for Baba to pull that off, because the only way I could see that happening is if the market is running and everything is bullish. Then I can see Baba coming through and just breaking this. But let's look at the 300 level. It's right around here with this big bar. This big bar, usually big bars, they take a lot of time to break. They don't give up without a fight, because you have to remember, anybody that was in this bar was a short, and that short power, you could see how the force, right? It's not a small little bar. It's not a bar like this that can easily get taken out. So it can happen, but if we were to analyze the chart, it would be definitely hard to just pierce it straight away. That being said, if we kind of pop here, then consolidate for a few days, then we can maybe push. But the problem is, this is the weekly chart, so we would only have 4 more candles to break that 300. So let's just think about that logically, right? We have 4 more candles here. How can that look in order to break 300? The first candle is likely not to break 300, right? Not right away. If it does, that's even better, because I'll be happy. But I'm just trying to explain it from an objective perspective. I don't see the next bar breaking 300 unless the market is just really, really bullish. Then in that case, it can happen. What I would think we might see is maybe some more consolidation for another week or two, and then a little push higher, or a push higher and then a pullback. So that's the thing with options, right? Is you got to be careful, because if you get the wrong expiry, you can be in trouble. All right, Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is looking just like Facebook. A double inside week with a break. I've been holding Amazon. The last time I added Amazon was, I think, somewhere over here, and that one has been my best performing stock this year. I was not expecting it to just basically double, but it has. So with Amazon, same setup on Facebook. We have the double inside week. So we're really looking now for a continuation above this wick to see that next leg up. And if we turn around and break through these levels, then I would expect a little bit more selling down to here. But very bullish. And if we can get going here, we will squeeze these wicks. It's just a matter of time. All right. So I'm going to post Facebook, and I'll probably post Amazon too, because the charts are very similar, and I like the setups. So if there's not any more questions, I'm going to end here. And again, appreciate you joining me on a Sunday. I know you guys are busy, and I hope you learned something. So, when you're looking at these charts, look for the inside bars, look for the fibs, and you have to really zoom out. Like if we zoom out on Amazon, to really see like what's actually happening here. Just imagine how many times shorts had tried to short this thing, right? And so you don't want to be on that side, right? You don't want to be on that side. You want to be with the trend when it comes to swinging and investing. When it comes to day trading, it doesn't matter, because you can make money both ways. And you guys see that every day on Twitter. I post opportunities for both sides. All right. So thank you very much. And looking forward to hearing from you guys next week on Twitter. And probably do another one of these next week. All right. Take care.